pautana. Unya kumutubag man gani sila, ipasa ko ni Cardinal Vidal ang Archbishop nato. Pero si Archbishop pod kanang mo advise sa mga reporters nga kanang muhuwat lang daw mi kanusay siya ready mo hatag og information. Unya sometimes kung muhatag na siya og comment kanang it's like a week after na ang issue, so bahaw na, or if di bahaw kanang murag na put into a suspicious light na noon ang church because wala sila nakuhaan og side.
Is the church deliberately making access by media on controversial issues difficult?
I don't think it's a deliberate move on their part to withhold. I think it's a carryover of old habits that has to see some change if they really want to be effective in social communication. You really have to adopt a different set of attitude towards mainstream media and other interest groups whom you are also trying to influence.
Is the frequent shut out of media the result of a gag order?
The perceived reticence of our priests in explaining matters to media is not due to an imposed gag order. It is simply the way our hierarchical structure works. Every priest is acutely aware that he has no mandate to speak to the media about matters that involve the personal life of his fellow priests or of his parishioners for that purpose. And so, there is no such thing as gag order. I think that is simple prudence. When we do not answer inquiries from the media, it doesn't mean we are hiding anything. It simply means we do not think the media to be the proper forum to talk about such things.
The church has been always mysterious. It has always been a citadel on top of a mountain, unreachable. And quite recently, even the Vatican has come up with its own website. It has come up with interactive television shows. EWTN has become informative and interactive at the same time. I think the church has to adopt this. In the absence of newsletters, in the absence of newspapers, in the absence of broadcasting stations. So the church must welcome forums where people are able to ask no-holds-barred questions. So in that case, the church has been actually just waiting for questions to be shut at her door. But from that case, it has been negative because most of the questions that come are only questions that come from crisis and scandal. So even before things do happen, I think the church has to do a lot of explaining. Why not come up with forums? Participate in actually forums, even forums that they're not comfortable in, but they are supposed to make a stand. The church has shied away from certain issues, for example, that they know people are expecting the church to speak.
The Archdiocese has a media liaison officer, but in some cases, the Cardinal reserves the right to personally address the issue. Liaison Officer Monsignor Achilles Dakay has not exactly won good reviews from the press.
Ang akong impression na rawat na si Monsignor Dakay is talking for himself. Not even for Cardinal Vidal, nor for the church. And knowing this, kung mauni ilang problema nga si Monsignor Dakay dili maka-articulate sa stand, sa official stand sa Archdiocese of Cebu, naglibog kung ano si Monsignor Dakay, mao gihapoy media liaison officer until today. He should be removed for being ineffective sa pag-function sa iyang post.
I think it would help to have a spokesman who is sensitive and who understands that journalists are really just trying to do our job in society.
You do need articulate, accessible, even-tempered spokesman with a sense of humor, because anybody dealing with the mainstream media needs a sense of humor.
I think that for certain matters of the church, there are other individuals who could really act as experts, who could really be good sources of information. And in the recent past, there have been some confrontation done with media people and our spokesperson, and they have not been very pleasant, to say the least. I think this issue could be resolved if another person could actually be put there, not only who could face the media, but who could actually provide particular answers for specific issues.
In discussions conducted in meetings with the Cebu Citizens Press Council, not only were problems identified, solutions coming from both sectors were suggested. While the Archdiocese has 7 districts, with each district having a hierarchy of leaders, they do not automatically act on a crisis. And the panel acting on the crisis is not the same person or persons facing the media.
That's why I said they are not that institutionalized, but they come as the need arises, as cases also appear or are presented. So when they are the ones appointed by the Cardinal and told by the Cardinal to work on this, they are practically the very persons who can say something about what's happening there.
There's also a way of the church, a mechanism. This is not yet that old, but bago pa lang tingali ni, protocols are being set into place, mechanisms for dealing with complaints with regards to these issues. Ang run around siguro part of it was the fact na wala pa ma-establish the impression, wala pa ma-establish ang mechanism.
There are matters that one spokesman may not have enough knowledge or information about. The suggestion is for media to seek other sources within the church and to authorize these sources to speak up. But then, there's what some priests call a code of silence.
Mao na nga ang kami sa ubos. Mao man sa niya kung nadunggan doon nga kuwan complaint. In fact, we bring out no sa forum nga doon na lagi code of silence kay bisag isang pareha pangutanon di gyud mo kuan kay usa na concern takal mig sulti may kay sa full facts onya na we can be the source of gingon mong mixed signal, no? So it goes back to the kinsagi tubangon na nasa diocese.
Well, the truth of the matter is the church itself has to come up with its own media where it actually announces that some tasks are done. Maybe the regrettable thing here is you cannot deny, no? I think the percentage speaks that about 90% of the information on church and faith that ordinary people get is not from the church itself. It's from mass media.
On multi-sourcing, reporters are encouraged to seek sources other than the liaison officer. The Cardinal himself says, any commission in the Archdiocese can be asked about their nature. People must know we have such commissions. The CCPC adopted standards encourage media to remedy the problem. Priests are community leaders who are subject to public and media scrutiny, but there are also other religious leaders. Are they being ignored and their conduct not examined by media? A news editor agrees, saying it's largely demographic. More Catholics as readers and audiences. A Muslim imam does not think so, and he identifies the root of the problem of priests in trouble.
Sa Ginoo to the word of life o ang mga kuan lingon lang Ginoo nga adalo ala khairi ka pa ilihi sa pulong arabo kinsa to nag-spread sa kaayuhan sama sa iyang pagbuhat o ikaw ang nagdala sa simbahan so silbing ikaw ang model oo sa to pa kung ang simbahan kanito amot kakaroon sa all o ang Vatican magatagong desisyon ng mga pare mas maayo na lang mapangasawaon o para kay sila naman sila'y kasing-kasing sama nato, di ba? Nasaan sila kasing-kasing? Nasaan sila'y ibati mga feelings? Dili man sila angels.
Both the press and the church agree that each side has a lot to know about how the other functions and that knowing them better can lessen tension and friction. At a CCPC forum, Father Fidel Orendayan said that in the face of controversy, the church is often quiet or unclear. That can be because church leaders still have to grasp the dynamics of mass media, and the press does not understand how the church works. The press, with its deadlines and its task of meeting the public's need to know, is often impatient. The rush, of course, has its toll, inaccuracies, and failure to see the larger picture. But there is hope. What the press, through the CCPC, is doing shows earnestness to improve media coverage by being more sensitive and responsible. What the church is doing through its panels and mechanisms and pronouncements of its leaders shows efforts to be more open and active.
Church people who instinctively, because they don't know any better, recoil from media. Huh? As Jean Magsaysay says, no talk, no mistake. No? On the other hand, does not understand these church structures. So we're very insensitive. So this attempt to open a dialogue, so that look, I'm not here, I'm not here to bite you, huh? Is a good approach. But it has to be, there's confidence building. They have to see to it also that your reporting is accurate. Confidence building on both sides. Eh. Also often, tayo naman, we just barrel off into the... And you can understand the position also of not only the church. Here is a man that is entrusted with community. His only bona fide are his moral credentials. You destroy that, he's finished. Huh?
But in the first place, we need you.